Hi, I'm Yoam. Today I want to talk about a question that I've been asked many times by team leads, and that is, why am I not a director yet? Or in other words, what do I have to do to become a director? Now let's start with stating the obvious. No matter what promotion you're seeking, it is highly dependent on your relationship with your direct manager. I'm sorry to tell you something that you probably already know, but nobody's going to promote you if they don't like you, even if you are the best candidate. So, your relationship with your direct manager has to do a lot with whether you're going to get promoted to a director. However, that said, when I was thinking about promoting someone to a director level, I always looked for these three specific skill sets that I think that if you don't have, I'm not sure you're ready to be a director. So let's go over them. The first one is the ability to manage managers. When you're a team lead, you are focused really on managing a set of individual contributors. And that is very tactical thinking in terms of what you need to do on a daily basis in order for them to deliver the product. And that is daily stand ups, managing the sprints, managing the Jira board. However, when you become a director, my expectations from you is that now you are focusing mainly on how can you make your managers better. And this is the single most critical failure that I sometimes see with people who want to become a director but are not ready. Honestly, it's also an issue with people who are already directors. And that is letting go of what you used to do as a team lead. Because you move from being very, very focused on daily activities as a team lead, suddenly stepping away from it and letting your managers manage the daily activities and making the daily decisions can be very difficult for people. And I remember when I first got promoted to a director, that was something that I struggled with. The balance between not wanting to be a micromanager, but on the other end, not just disappearing. Because another mistake I see with some directors is they're like, okay, I'm a director now. I'm not involved at all. Only call me when there's an issue. And that's a huge mistake because if you do that, what happens is you become an absentee manager. And by the time you hear there's an issue, it's usually 10 times worse than it would have been if you were involved. So, as a director, when you're managing managers, really what you have to do is you need to still manage a team. That's the way you would manage individual contributors, but now you're managing managers. So, for example, when I'm managing my managers, we still have a weekly meeting with our own Jira board that we go over all the tasks. And I still hold my managers accountable and I still have conversations with them on a regular basis about what their teams are working on. But the big difference is now I give them the freedom to manage the daily tasks any way they want. And really, my job as a manager is to provide clear directions as to what needs to be done and when it needs to be delivered. And that is a big difference from somebody who is very tactical at the team level and only focusing on managing their individual contributors. The next skill that I want to see in somebody before they become a director is strategical thinking. And this is another one that can be a little bit tricky when you just get promoted and you're not really sure what has to change. The way I view it is, as a team lead, I want you to spend about 80% of your time on tactical decisions. And the other 20, I want you to think strategically. But when you become a director, I actually want you to spend more like 60% of your time on strategical thinking and only 40% of your time on tactical decisions. So you can ask me, what is strategical thinking? Strategical thinking, especially at the director level, it's more about your ability to think long term. So now you're going to make decisions that are not just for the short run. You're going to start thinking about the impact of the decision on the overall productivity of the team. Let me give you an example because this one is something that sometimes people miss when I try to explain it to them, but it's really important. One of the companies that I joined as a senior director, when I joined, they gave me 4 teams. And the first couple of weeks, I learned what each team does. But what I found out is that within these 4 teams, I had 10 different tech stacks and 4 different development languages. Now, this is something that each one of the team leads didn't really care about because they were very focused on the tech stack that they work on, the development languages that they care about, but they didn't have a system view. So what I did is I gathered all of my managers as part of our weekly meetings, and I said, hey, we have way many 2 tech stacks. So we standardized them, we narrowed them into 1 tech stack, and we also removed development languages that didn't make sense. Now, this immediately created a huge productivity boost. Why? Because now we knew that developers working in one team can easily migrate their code to another team because we're all using the same standardized tech stack. And that ended up with us being able to be a lot more productive compared to before. And this type of strategical thinking, even though it's also involved in tactical decisions, is what I want to see from a director level management. The last skill that I want to see with a director is the ability to cross-collaborate with external departments. And this is really important. Why? Because again, as a team lead, you are working with other departments, no doubt, but you're not really focused on the overall relationships you have with all the different stakeholders. And especially as a team lead, you're focusing on what your team does. But as a director, you really have to spend time building those relationships between you and your counterparts in other departments. A good example is that tension that I sometimes see in companies between the product team, the design team, and the development team. And sometimes developers, they'll go and they'll just blame the product team or blame the design team. Hey, I didn't get the Figma files on time, or they weren't very clear, and the product team didn't write the right stories. And then you have this tension, like this competition between your department and other departments. That is a big mistake. What I want to see at a director level is actually building collaboration, really understanding what is it that your customers in some way need from you. One of the things that I do is at the end of every sprint, I attend almost all of my team's demos at least once a month. Of course, when I was managing 10, 15 teams, it's hard to do it once a month, but I would really work hard to never go more than a couple of weeks without attending a demo. But what I would ask my team leads, beyond showing me a demo at the end of the sprint of what their team worked on, is to invite all stakeholders to this meeting. And I mean QA, sales, marketing, design, management, anybody who might be involved with what they're working on. And this is a really important step, because not only would we get very important feedback from those stakeholders that will prevent us from making mistakes down the road, because we were like, okay, we showed you, they would give us the feedback that, okay, we made a mistake, we can correct that very quickly. But also we built very strong relationships with these stakeholders, because now they felt involved in the team and invited to be part of our decision making. And that is a skill that is very important to develop at a director level. At that level, you can't just be an island. You really need to learn how to work with the bigger stakeholders within the company. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please like the video and share it with other people so we can spread the word. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye.